Hey guys, it's Skybird, and today we're going to be taking a look at my take on the Lewa Mistika build. So, without further ado, let's get right on into it. Wah wah. No, so I'm going to be honest with this one. I'm not a huge fan of the color scheme. There's something about just standard old mata green, although it is a color that is much beloved to me that I missed after 2003. It just doesn't go with the pearl silver all that well, in my opinion. It's very muted. It's more muted on camera, and that's not just me, because you can see I've got plants in the background that look quite vibrant, but this little guy right here just looks bland. And I think I think that is just basically because of the color, but I wanted to present this in a way that was consistent with all of the other models that I created so far. So he does have a heavy emphasis on the silver color. Part of the reason for that is just the limitations of parts. There are no long sockets in standard green. They do appear in lime green, so that is an option, and is probably the route that I would go down for a character like this. But unfortunately not in standard green, and I didn't just want to build the same kind of green double sockets, or double sockets in general, that a lot of the community builds, because I wanted to present something here that was different. So the leg and the upper arm double socket builds are both unique and both designed for this character specifically. That said, though, I don't hate the design by any means. I actually think it looks quite good. I just think it's something that would really benefit from a pop of lime. Maybe lime legs and lime upper arms, or upper limbs as well, even upper arms with the shoulder pads if you wanted. Those are all options. Many of those pieces are available. Obviously with the arms you can't do Rakshi arms, but you can of course do the Metru arm in lime green instead, and I think that would look quite nice. If you wanted to keep these silver legs for whatever reason, then hey, let me show you a really handy custom thing that I came up with to give you ankle guards on the Anika leg here. Using the Toa Metru, or Toa Nuva armor rather, it will actually click in there and it'll just hold in place. There is a specific reason for that. I'll talk about it here in a minute, but personally I'm not a huge fan of the Anika leg pieces in general. I think they're just overly detailed for a lot of builds, and I don't like to go for like super greebled, super detailed parts and builds like that. So I prefer something smooth like the Paraka legs or more Rakshi legs, but I ended up doing both of these here to kind of pay homage to the original Lewa Phantoka set. Obviously, some other aspects of this build pay homage to that set as well, and also have some nods to his 2015 appearance with the axes here over the shoulders at a sort of V rather than being connected to the arms. The jetpacks are connected to the arms, and we will take a full look around here in just a moment. And of course, in this case here, I gave him two of the 2008 katanas. I don't know what that sword is called. I'm just going to call it the katana because his 2003 sword, or his Nuva sword, is the air katana, and they're one of my personal favorite weapons, and I think these do pretty good justice. They're not my favorite weapon by any means, but I do like what I was able to do with them here. So I could have given him custom weapon builds as I have done for each of the other Toa, though I think that these work really well and can actually be attached to the axe pieces, the Matoro axe pieces over the shoulders, to give him a sort of glider. And I think they work exceptionally well here because of these little teeth on here. It gives it a very gnarly appearance that it doesn't necessarily fit the character of Lewa per se, but it looks really cool, especially for 2008, where that gnarly look was very prevalent in the Makuta specifically, and I think it works well here. If you guys are familiar with this build, then you know it is jointed in the center, meaning you can bend the character, and in this case, I actually double jointed it, giving him extra posability in 2 points in the waist instead of just one. He's Lewa. I always imagine him as being a very flexible, agile character, and so that was a kind of instructive choice there, inspired choice if nothing else. And of course he has the thrusters on the back. This time I gave him the trans neon green just to again really help his color pop, but I wanted to make sure the character was single color as much as possible to be consistent with the other builds as mentioned. So if I were going to change this character in the future, what would I do? Well, as mentioned, I would give him the lime arms at the very least, and if not using these pieces, then probably give him the lime green Anika legs instead. Personally, I think this piece is a little too bulky for Lewa specifically as ankle guards, but I do like the aesthetic there at the very least, so it is useful for other characters, and thankfully that armor piece is available in many different colors. Alongside that, I can't think too much of what else I would honestly change other than just color scheme, to be honest. If you guys look at it from the back here, it is a fairly straightforward build with some interesting kind of techniques in there. Nothing fancy going on, of course, with just a tri-axle connector in here, allowing me to actually angle these axe pieces to get them over the shoulders at the angle that I want, and then some more angled connectors on here as well. And it works quite nice. It looks really good. It gives you a really clean aesthetic, and they do pop up pretty high, but I like that for Lewa. I don't know what it is, but that really high shoulder, it's something that I fell in love with his 2015 design. And I think it works out well here. It is exaggerated, of course, but I do like it. So let me go ahead and get these off of here because I think they really oversell the detail on him. The arm comes with an arm-mounted blaster here, which can be attached to the hands instead. Either hand you want, either arm you want if you feel like changing it. And the jetpacks are actually on the arms themselves, so they move along with the arms, and it helps to really kind of maybe cut off, maybe kind of block off a little bit of the layering of colors here with green over silver over green. That's a little meh, but I wanted to make sure I brought in as much of the green color as possible because he really needs it. He needs all the help he can get. Something else I considered doing was adding these pieces from Knight's Kingdom into the legs here, which does work. But it kind of stacks layers over each other, and it looks a little off when it's green over silver over green, so I don't personally care for it that much. That said, it still looks fine, and I'm not against it by any means. In this case here, we went for the Mata feet, but originally I was doing using the Hero Factory feet. And if you ever want to know how to attach a socket like that, just slip one of these pieces through the bottom. It works perfectly, and it doesn't wobble or anything like that. So yeah, always a good little technique to have in hand. So you've learned 2 techniques today. And in terms of comparisons between him and the original Lewa Phantoka set, he is quite a bit shorter. Hold on, let me go ahead and grab him again so you can see him. So he's quite a bit shorter. That is intentional. I think that the Phantoka, as cool as they look, are a little bit on the tall side. And of course, because his double sockets are 4 in length rather than 5, technically 6 in length rather than 7. I'm not going to get into that. It just means that his legs are shorter, his arms are shorter, but it gives him a unique stature that I quite like. So I think it works out well for him. But yeah, let me go ahead and remount these, and then I'll give you a full 360 view so you can, I don't know, enjoy. So, yep, this is the build right here, and I'm happy with it overall. But yeah, by no means is he perfect, and he's definitely one of the sets that's in need of a secondary color for sure. Thrusters definitely help. The little laser on the blaster here really helps. Even using the Zammer in color rather than silver also helps. But none of these are a perfect solution. And if you want to make the situation worse, you can take off the original Miru Nuva and give him a silver one just for fun, and really just sell the fact that he's got no color whatsoever. Which I actually don't hate. I think that looks pretty cool. But yeah, definitely too much silver, and that green just does not carry the color scheme well enough on its own. If you guys want to see a set that I would love to have been a reality, let me see if this will pop up here for you guys. Maybe. Yeah, now you can see it. This build right here, or this design rather, is an old creation on DeviantArt by someone going by the name of ToaTiome. I don't know who that is, unfortunately, but I will leave a link to this in the description, as well as my Discord and Instagram. I love that design specifically. It is only a handful of changes from the original Phantoka, a handful more unique molds, but I think the balance there is really well done. I don't know if they're using Mata Green or bright green. I assume Mata Green. I think it says somewhere in the description that's the color that they're using. But if you are familiar with bright green, that is the color that was used in 2015. And maybe that would work out better with the dark bluish gray, and maybe with the silver. I like the combination of green with dark bluish gray and with old dark gray. I also like the combination of lime with those colors. So I think this is a really good sort of middle ground, if you will, that still carries the essence of the Lewa Phantoka set, but with a different packaging and obviously more color. I think this would have been perfect, to be honest. So other than maybe using a custom mask, but With that said, that's pretty much it for me on this one, guys. If you did enjoy the video, then again, links to that, links to my Discord, links to Instagram will be in the description below. And of course, as always, hey, subscribe if you haven't already. It's free, it helps, and we've been growing, so hey, might as well join the crowds, right? Anyway, I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care.